Our walk today is taking us up to Hadrian's Wall. We started it at the Sill, which is a relatively new visitor centre, pretty amazing really, built into the landscape so that it's hardly visible at all. But once inside it's pretty big. Anyway, we've climbed up from the Sill and now we're going up to Crag. Here is some of the original Hadrian's Wall, which would have been 2 or 3 times higher than this. And just over there is a milepost where they would have had a sentry or two keeping watch all along the wall. We've got a good view now of the wall and the milepost to the side of it. And in the distance, in between the trees, you can see part of the Sill blending into the landscape. We've just climbed up to Crag. It was very narrow and steep in parts, so it's good to be up here. And now we're looking across to the wall, snaking over the hills. I'm sitting on the wall on a comfortable stone, looking down at mile 39. I'm sitting in mile castle 39, imagining what it would be like to be a sentry here all those years ago, when you would be keeping watch that way and that way to see what was coming. But I bet they were playing a game of cards or something and whiling away the time, especially on a gloomy, wet day. I'm just writing my diary. As we came up, I wondered what was on the top of that crag until I realised it's a cow, looking and seeing what's going on. But all the people coming along the wall. Looking down, we can see what I guess are the defensive ditches that were built either side of the wall. Another deterrent for people. A very good deterrent. We're looking down on the other side now of Mile Castle 39, and again seeing the wall up and down. It's so photogenic in this landscape. And here there's the wall has been filled in between the bricks, but not always. But it's a wonderful sight, and a comfy wall too. We're looking down now on the famous Sycamore Gap, and now to get down there. It's amazing that this tree is still here, isn't it? When you think, I mean, at the moment the wind isn't whistling through the gap. It is at the top, but to think this tree is still so strong and just standing in the gap. Lovely little sound with the leaves. And yeah, pretty amazing. We've left the wall now and are walking along the old military road, which runs parallel to the wall, because the wall is only just over there and we'll be joining up with it soon. The wall carries on to Housesteads, but we're turning round and returning on the old military road back under Crag, back to the Sill Visitor Centre. We're walking west today towards Winshield Crag, the highest point on the wall. This dry stone wall is following the line of Hadrian's wall, but it isn't the original wall, but we can see it all stretching out in the distance, undulating up and down and around. The farmers would have used and been very glad to have used the wall, the stones from the wall, because they were readily dressed. But this is a dry stone wall as opposed to the one when the Romans built it. It was, they used mortar, and it was also a lot wider than this is. I suddenly thought, why am I walking on these irregular sort of stones, and up there it's nice and grassy? And looking ahead then, I can see the Roman wall and the width of it, because I'm walking on the base of what would have been the Roman wall. And I think I'll get on the grass, it's a bit more comfortable. So it's very obvious here, isn't it, the width of the wall as it was. Obviously it would have been quite a bit higher, but they built it so wide. Windshields marks the halfway point and the highest position on Hadrian's wall. Short lengths of the wall survive on Windshields. Originally it may have stood about 4.5 metres high to a wall-top walk with a parapet adding another 1.5 metres. North of the wall a deep V-shaped ditch formed an extra obstacle, but for much of Windshields it was left out as the high crags made it unnecessary. And to the south the army built another barrier, a ditch between two banks known as the vallum, defining a military zone between it and the wall. I'm standing on the top of Winshield Crag, 345 metres high, with a commanding view all around the whole area. We've been looking out for two turrets which have been marked on the Ordnance Survey map, but they're no longer visible along the wall. However, we've got a lovely view looking down to the wall disappearing in the distance and the expanse of countryside all around. So now we're making our way back to Rigg car park.